Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Dan's Saturday Morning Matinee Movies. Today I'll be covering one of my favorite genres, as well as really the genre that American film is really built on, and that is the American Western. Specifically today, we'll be talking about Unforgiven. Released in 1992, directed, starred, and produced by Clint Eastwood, the film really racked up at the Oscars, winning Best Supporting Actor, Best Film Editing, Best Director, as well as Best Picture. And like I said, Clint Eastwood is in the starring role, and he plays William Moody, who is an aging gunslinger who is running from the violence of his past and trying to escape it, living, a peaceful life with his children on a farm until he has an opportunity at one more job that can secure the future for his family financially. And this opportunity presents itself when a local prostitute is scarred and disfigured by a patron. The sheriff's idea of justice is making the man hand over his horses to the owner of the brothel. This obviously outrages the prostitutes, who do not see this as justice, and they put out a $1,000 bounty on the man's head. It is this bounty that lures William Mooney off of his family farm when he's recruited by a young gunslinger named the Schofield Kid. William later goes on to recruit an old friend of his, Ned, as well, played by the great Morgan Freeman. And this puts the men on a course to come head-to-head with Little Bill, the sheriff of the town, who is really the main antagonist of this film, played by Gene Hackman. And he's really the antagonist because his methods are questionable, sometimes overly violent. He's a man who's really willing to defend his town by any means he deems necessary. The film really is a deconstruction of the Western genre. Specifically, I think of the character of the Schofield Kid. You find out about 3/4 of the film that he's not quite as experienced of a gunslinger as he lets on, and when he does eventually shoot a man, you find out that it's the first time he's ever taken a life, and you see the effects on him. You see that this whole time he thought this was going to be this glorious accomplishment, that he's read about all these gunfighters of the past. He thought his first kill was going to be this glorious moment for him, and instead it's riddled with shame, and he immediately turns to the bottle. And the sheriff, Little Bill, is the other character you really got to take a deep look at, because he's in this role where he's supposed to be this paragon of justice. He's the sheriff of the town. He's the guy that everybody looks at, but really he's the character doing the most unethical things. He's probably commits more evil action in this film than anybody. And then on the other hand, you have William Mooney, who is supposed to be this outlaw. He's running away from his past. He looks at himself as a bad man deep inside, but he's the one that you see giving sympathy towards the prostitute. He's the one that, he's doing this so he can secure his children's future. I really do think it's the depth of the characters and the evolution of the characters that make this movie stand out from other Westerns. I think of a lot of other Westerns from Clint Eastwood. You have the man with no name, this mysterious stranger that wanders into town and just becomes the hero. This one, you have a little bit more to work with, a little bit more background. You understand the character's motives a little bit better. And I think that's what gives this movie so much depth. And I think the timing of its release, too, I think the Western genre was very much dead in the water at the time that this movie was released, and I think it really rejuvenated the entire genre. So that's why I always looked at this movie very fondly. I always enjoy it. I've never let down by this. As the years go on, I still rewatch this. I'm sure it's a movie that's very familiar to a lot of people. If you haven't seen it, check it out. If you've seen it and you haven't seen other Clint Eastwood Westerns, go check those out too. They're a little bit different, but they're all still good. And I'm happy to bring Unforgiven to you guys today in Dan's Saturday Morning Matinee Movies. Until next Saturday, guys.
You beat William Money out of Missouri. Killed women and children.
That's right. I've killed women and children. Killed just about everything that walks or crawled at one time or another. And I'm here to kill you, Little Bill. For what you did to Ned.